to the podcast. Finally, I have not met someone with the determination you have to get something done.
Explain determination.
Because we have always planned about this, but this is the longest. It has been on my schedule for the longest time.
Technically, before we went to a lockdown.
The lockdown, we had it on there. We pushed, but finally we're here.
Finally.
We talk. So Edgar, me and you have been to the same school. We had the same passion in school. I remember we were both striking for the computer lab.
Man.
You see me, I kept the passion.
No, I kept the passion only for Microsoft Word. Typing things out.
But yes, you are my guy. You are my go-to guy. By the way, there is that credit. I don't have to give to you, but it was because of the love, that the fact that we had to go and do the games, and that I really channeled into this direction. And this is where I am. But yes, tell us about you, what you're on about. What's up?
What can I say about me?
You became a Rasta, you're too fat, you're eating a lot of...
No, this is the life of a person who doesn't fast technically.
I see you're very passionate about food.
Food is life. I can't even live life without food. But yeah, it is criminal even. This is why I always ask people who fast, how do they do it?
Yeah.
You forego food for a particular moment. People are calling for trays and trays of food. You're starving. How do you do that?
So for it is eating. As a passion.
It is a must.
You never miss a meal any day.
Never. The only time I've tried to miss a meal, I think that was in my senior 6. That's the day I tried to fast for about 3 hours. Just a sample to see how this thing works.
What are you up to, man? What are you up to now?
Well, up now, it's mostly writing. Writing in the sense that now I'm into blogging. My own blogging.
Yeah. Then I read almost all your blogs.
Then also I'm into Twitter chats.
Yeah.
A lot of them. I usually have them like every Saturday for an organization I work with, Faces Up Uganda.
Yeah.
Other than that,
what does Faces Up Uganda do? Yes.
Well, it's an NGO,
Yeah.
youth-led. I don't even have to say youth-led. We are young people, really. You know, young and youth.
Yeah.
People mix up those two words. We are young people-led. We work around getting better mentorship and role modeling in young people. When I say young people, I mean those from 25 to school-going age kids, but not
25,
above 25. Not
someone
above
is
25.
technically,
25 is like...
Because 25 someone is done at school.
That is like university level now. Yes. But the way we do that is in form of mostly art.
Yeah.
So when you log in, like on our website, facesup.org, you'll see so many things to do with art. Hands-on things, hand-drawn things, anything to do with art, really. We start from there.
And you have been about this creative world for some time. Yeah. You dropped the whole computer lab and stuff like that?
No. I still love computers, although not the technical side of them. Like you now, you have this whole arrangement. Now this is very technical. Yeah, you have to know so many things. Me, I like the software side of things now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, before even going through all that, you now have dreadlocks. One thing I know about dreadlocks is the discipline it takes to have dreadlocks. It's something because I've tried to have dreadlocks.
Tried? What happened?
Just growing hair and take it. So it's hard. Because I also have very bad African hair, kaweke. So I grow to some level. Then I'm like, okay, no.
Time to trim it.
Then the wedding comes. Then I'm like, okay, let me just take it off and look smart in a suit and be about that. How does this? What inspires this now?
Injustice inspired this whole thing of hair. But let me give you some history. From way back when I was very small, when I look at all the family photos that were taken back then, I am the one person at home who had a lot of hair on the head for a long time.
I remember in school you didn't even want to cut your hair as well. Yeah.
You see, now that's the thing.
True.
Now when we started going to schools and people started caning us severely for our own hair grown on our own heads. Oh no.
But you must be cool peoples, or you're protected, or you're staying in areas like Kololo. Because you see, with our kinds of lifestyles, one thing I've realized is the authorities don't like people with hair.
That we are going to talk about a lot.
Yes. Well, in fact, let's just go first to that before you even get. The authorities don't like people with hair. They've cut my friend's hair, and I feel so bad. My restas. Now, maybe you've gone to school, so you can explain yourself. But I have a few friends on the street whose hair has been just cut off when they find him. So they relate the whole dreadlocks thing, the whole being a Rasta thing, to being criminal. Yet in actual sense, the discipline it takes for you to be Rasta. It means your mindset is somewhere very well that you have the confidence to keep your hair and all that.
Now that is going to take me to a blog post I wrote some years back. Bald heads and suits.
Yeah.
Or I think it's bald heads and ties. When you look at that blog post, I really tried to get people's minds questioning things.
Yeah.
I usually ask this question. When you look at all these government bodies all over the world, how many people do you find of such hair in those bodies?
Very few.
Very few. But again, who messes up our countries with it?
The government.
The government. Who are the people in the government?
Actually, one thing I know about government is they're experts at tarnishing the country more than the citizens. That's
good. Very good.
That is.
But then what is on their heads?
The bald heads.
The bald heads and the suits. Those
so what
are
you
the
trying to say?
Criminals. Those are the real criminals. Forget people who just walk around and are arrested from anywhere. No. The real criminals are those guys who are suits, those really shiny suits with bald heads.
True.
I can assure you, for every 10 people you will find who fall in that category, 9 of them are proper criminals.
What inspires your hair?
What inspires my hair? Like I said, injustice.
Yes. What do you mean injustice? How is injustice now related to you being a Rasta? Yeah.
Very good. It started from Namilyango College. Remember that time when they started, making all these roads in our hair? Roads and flags and designs.
Uyo was responsible for most of these things.
Now there is that part, yes. But that made me wonder, why is it that some students were exempt from that? There was one.
This was right, by the way, from primary. Yeah, there are classes.
In primary school, I didn't experience that.
A bit me in my primary school, there was that classism. Some students are allowed to have their hair. Then to us who are native students, then they will.
You're treated
like a thief in your own country.
The way you're handled to.
Just like police will treat a Ugandan to a foreigner. Exactly.
And now you see that takes us to the thing of the politics of black people's hair.
Yeah.
Many people don't realize that the hair they carry on their heads is political. Irrespective of the color, it's political. Just give me one instance where you found a white person's hair being cut off the way ours is cut off here in Uganda.
True.
Where you can go to any school, you find white people with their very nice hair on their heads, proper. They treat it the way they want.
The white privilege is something,
With in accordance with hair.
Yeah.
But you're the black person. Yeah. It's like the guy who has been embezzling all the money the country needs. Now that they have gotten you, they have to deal with you thoroughly.
Where do you think this anger breeds from grassroots? Why do you think authorities are like this, really?
Well, it dates back to the days of when the white people came here. They came here, and I just don't even know how to put it. They came with a system here of theirs from their country, their own beliefs. When they came here, they found us with our hair, because we already had our hair growing on our heads. When they found it here, many of them said, looking at us funny and different. They said calling us beasts simply because we had our hair on our heads. We're talking about people who had hair reaching a minimum your lower back. That is how long we grew our hair. And it was very nice. We treated it with all sorts of things, including oil from vegetable oil, literally. Some people used to treat their hair with mud, others with what in Uganda we call mzigo gwembizi. So many things. Honey, just even water alone.
Yeah.
When these guys found us with our hair, they said, no, you can't fit in our system. They wanted to impose our system. Remember we were talking about colonialism? So they ensured They put on us a particular way of doing things. In other words, for us to fit in their system, we need to appear a certain way.
A certain way.
That is why they brought in this whole, I like calling it vandalism of our bodies. They vandalized us. And from then on it carried on, because everyone they trained who was black, they made sure they put that
the mindset into them. Exactly. This is why they just vandalize you. They find a Rasta on the street, they just... A Rasta friend of mine's hair was cut off. And this man is about 40 years meanwhile. He has grown and had this hair from when he was 16 to 40, because he's around 42 years now.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. That's a long discipline. You do not know the mental to your day.
For about 5 years.
Exactly. It's crazy, and I can see the passion you have with it. It is now, imagine someone who has had it for all these years, and you just come and I found you in an illegal place, and it hurt me like it was my own hair. I felt extremely bad. Now, also the culture, society, family. Families. How are you trading with family? Do you think your family is okay with all this? Because that is the other issue. I've also, by the way, tried to have dreads. I have podcasts where I have dreads, but they were short, small dreads. Because I was determined. Yes. I was determined to have dreads. I was like, no. This hair thing should be my thing. Because first of all, it's nice that you're taking care of your hair. No one has hair that is not taking care of it. So you have more time to take care of your body since you have to. But because of getting into offices of people, there are limitations, getting into family members are going to judge you, yet sometimes you don't want to deal with all that stuff. So I was like, you know what, let me just first relax with the hair. How are you managing that for you?
I use defiance. That is the only way.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
You're set for this. You love this.
You see, before I had this hair growing on my head, this is 4 or 5 years back.
Yeah.
I literally took off 2 years to study about black people's hair and the politics around it. 2 whole years.
What did you find interesting?
Oh, a lot of things.
Have you been writing about hair?
Of course.
How come you don't know?
There are numerous articles on hair. Oh, at least my hair. With my own pictures, with my own hair. There are a lot of them there. Yeah. It's a thing about defiance. I realized nothing good, nothing that you want in life ever comes out of begging and accepting to be at the needs of other people.
Yeah.
You need to just start and move. The rest will catch up with you. Because if I'm to be honest, when I really started growing this hair, you know how we be here in our country and in our communities.
True.
Exactly.
The stigma is up, head that side. That is all.
But I insisted on this. I practically now said, now this is my life. I have to live this.
And the workplace?
Even the workplace itself.
The workplace is okay because, of course, some organizations sometimes don't really feed into this kind of stuff, so maybe you're lucky. But getting gigs or stuff like that
properly, I get them with my hair. And this is the thing: when I go to those corporate offices, I never wear this hat for a reason. I want them to see the hair that itself.
This is the person. This is the
no hiding. This business of trying to adjust to their needs. No, I show up the way I am.
Sure.
And that is how it should be. We should not hide ourselves.
Yeah. I was like, that's very, very interesting. Now, you also write a lot.
Yes.
You literally send me a blog in a week. You send me like 3 blogs, at least at the very least, where I religiously read most of them and I enjoy them because sometimes they're very short. Yeah. You just sniff through it and you've asked a question. Recently you were at a burial and you asked what if everyone lost the same person at the same time? What do you think about that? What do you think about death?
Death. I have a fascination with death, to be honest.
What do you mean fascination? Like you love death? Are you ready to die?
Not exactly love death, but I am intrigued by death. You know why? Life is when you're alive on this earth, you can see so many things. But then now death is a big unknown. So I always try to ask as many questions as I can about death. As even those questions that someone would not ask. For example, that particular blog.
Yeah.
What if we all lost someone? Yeah. Because I was at home You know, when you have a
But
community.
you know, in COVID, these situations were common.
Oh yes.
People were losing the same people at the same time.
Oh yes. Actually, me, I started losing people last year to COVID-related things. Although my very first person I lost, it wasn't really COVID.
Yeah.
Because when the doctor just, received this person, they just looked at him. They didn't even do anything like it. They just said, "Oh, COVID, wrap him up or your food day." They took.
Wait, repeat that.
You know, like when you're taken from your, let's say this is your home.
Yeah.
We're taking you to a hospital.
Yeah.
We're taking you to the hospital, so you get there. You're literally badly off.
Like no one knows anything.
Your breathing levels are so low. You're doing badly. So we take you to the hospital. The doctor, instead of actually checking you to confirm what you're suffering from, doctor just looked at the body, this almost lifeless body of my uncle. This was my uncle. Just looked at him and said, "Oh, you were COVID. You know how they wrap up COVID bodies? They wrap you up in a polythene bag.
I haven't experienced a COVID patient.
Oh, trust me, there are so many.
But then that is extremely so fucked up. I would not allow that to happen. I'd sue the fucking hospital.
No, trust me, even if you sue the hospital, what happens?
I know, really nothing. But you do not tell me that. You don't do that.
You know what happened? You know what happened? The thing about COVID, if someone actually dies of COVID in Uganda, you'll see the guys with the hard mask suits, right? You'll see them show up. For this uncle of mine, no one showed up. That was the first tell sign that he didn't die of COVID. But when you're leaving
we've had a few guests on the podcast that have come on, including the former presidential candidate, Jeke, who have also raised a few issues. I remember my friend also, Eddie, said that a lot of people, no, actually, even the president, the Mock Gill president said, who is a doctor, who is a student doctor, said that a lot of sicknesses and a lot of other deaths were just bundled up into COVID deaths to spiral up numbers and to fit into the CDC agendas and all. Then this is why we are still under lockdowns that are necessary because these numbers have just been cooked up. And now here is you who has first class your uncle.
I tested that for sure. Because what happened is this year, this is about, it's close to 2 months now. I lost another person in our family. This one died out COVID, for real. Because when you go to burial now, the guys in the scale, the white people, they really showed up. And it was proper COVID.
But they are tested.
First uncle, no COVID. Actually, when we went back to, you know, when like a person dies, now you have to go through all their things, their issues, their life properties and whatnot. Wherever we went, everyone kept on telling us, Batugamba yafa COVID. Who are like, no, he didn't die of COVID. Because if he died of COVID, there were so many things that would show. He didn't die of COVID.
So you were still explaining to me what you think of that. I'm really sorry about that, man.
Dave, I know it shook many people.
That's crazy.
Actually,
I don't know.
All the people who read that blow.
Will you ever go back to that hospital?
That hospital?
I would cancel it.
I don't know.
That's so much.
I don't know. Because what happens is, that's not the only hospital that has done that. To be honest.
True.
There are so many that have done that.
True. And
even
we've had
worse.
this confession. Yes, we've had such confessions on the podcast, People saying, no, they've just bundled up numbers. And this. Yeah.
You remember the blog you talked about? Capitalism is death?
Yes.
That is where all this fits in now. Hey, the machine of capitalism has ensured if you're going to feed the capitalist money, you're dead.
But
you're
let me tell you
dead.
something. Capitalism is something society needs. Because capitalism is when you're left in a society alone to survive. How do you survive? Yeah. It is everyone is on the same page. Yeah. So you look for your opportunities, I look for my opportunities. How you probably make your money and how you make your money. The end goal is for all of us to survive, but we all are on the same table, on the same level grounds, where it's not influenced. That is why I do not have a problem with capitalism.
May I ask a question?
Please.
Did we have capitalism before the white people came here?
I do not know. I want some of that history.
You
think capitalism was just introduced by the white man?
Of course.
Sure, you're working.
It's as simple. No. The working is simple. Just look at the topmost 100 wealthiest people in the world. How many black people do you see there? And from Africa, how many?
But how many black people have are going into space?
Good, very good question. Very good. These are some of the things that show you some of these big.
No. Because you see, I would like to think white people are using very advanced technology. They're using all this other stuff to make all this other money. Because you see, white people are going to space. Yeah. And we do not have anyone we don't create cars here. We don't create things as simple as cars. So how, there's no way we're going to create, we don't even create these cameras.
May I ask a question? Yeah. How are we supposed to create cars when all the materials we need to create cars are taken away from us?
Why don't we use the materials ourselves?
Are we even given a chance to use them?
But it is no. What do you mean we're not given a chance? If
you know what happens in our country, in the mining sector, right?
Yeah.
You know what happens?
Yeah.
There are so many people who come in the name of investors here.
Yeah.
They come with all their plans. They come here, they convince whoever they have convinced, they buy anyone they have to buy. And in the end, it's the local Ugandans, who end up suffering. We just can't access.
That's true. It's now even it's coming into the construction, the sands, all these already now. All these people are taking up. The Chinese are coming to take up, and we should be very scared of China.
No, you know one thing about China. You shouldn't be scared about China. You know why? China is that one friend that everyone hates, but just can't do without. That's the capitalism I'm talking about now. China has built itself over the years to the point that everyone hates China. Even the Chinese themselves, they hate China.
Because of
but they just can't do without it.
China has prioritized development. They have where I would agree. I would rather deal, by the way, with the type of dictatorship that China has. Yeah, because things are going to work. Government institutions are working.
Are you sure you want to work? Are you sure you want to work with the Chinese system?
But things are working for them.
Are you really sure things are working?
They are working.
At what expense? That's the question. Have you looked at the Chinese companies here in Uganda? Do you ever listen to the stories, the Ugandans who work for them?
No. I've worked for China. I've worked for Kilimall, and I'll tell you a story. This guy, the operations. I was operations manager at Kilimall, Uganda, before they bounced out of the country. So this one day, I was going to take my child to hospital, who was very sick. So I call in and tell this guy, I have to take my baby to hospital. And this man frankly tells me, I do not pay you to take your baby to hospital. I pay you to be at work. I'm like, I am supposed to I cannot ignore my child. It says you have to be to work. And he gave me a warning letter. Then the next day I was fired.
Capitalism is?
Trash.
Death.
But the Chinese, that could be character. That could be some level of discipline they want.
No.
But at the bigger picture, the development.
Let me give you another example of capitalism. A few years ago, when Bianyima was at the World Economic Forum, she was speaking. Yeah. Then, and I think it was a Yahoo company executive raised his hand and said, he was giving his submission. Yeah. He said, we have provided jobs and everything. You know, people love saying jobs.
Yeah. Which jobs, by the way, are paying like people 3K, what? Stupid jobs.
Then she asked him, how decent are those jobs? That is a question he couldn't answer. She gave an example. There is a company in America that was, packing foodstuffs and all. Is it foodstuffs? I believe it was foodstuffs. Whereby the employees are not given toilet breaks. They are made to wear Pampers.
How is that possible? Is that right? Is that factual?
Even in Uganda, these things happen, by the way. These things happen. You raise your voice against them, be ready for two things. One, you're going to be killed. And two, you're going to be threatened. That will take me back to the capitalism, the stages of getting to be a capitalist. There are 3 stages. Yeah. 1, you're going to lie a lot. And these are not in order. Yeah. You're going to lie excessively. 2, you're going to cheat people a lot. And then 3, you're going to murder people. People usually ask, how does a person like Jeff Bezos have all that money? You think he gets that money?
Stocks but he doesn't even have like cash.
Yeah. But you see, he's one of the few people last year who made $15 billion in one day.
He made 13 actually, to be exact. He made 13.2 in one day.
In one
COVID,
day,
yes.
In the middle of a pandemic. Yeah. You know how that money comes up?
I think because Amazon is selling a lot and what? No, I do not know, but
that's a good thing. Yeah. Amazon was selling a lot at what expense? Remember when I talked about the no toilet breaks? So many people came out in those warehouses. They say it in the actual stories. People are working in a warehouse, packing things, competing with robots. I want you to imagine such a situation.
But they're bringing robots into these warehouses.
No. You're competing with the robot. You've been given a target that is the same for a robot. Just imagine how that is going to happen and work. A robot has been told you're going to pack 1,500 boxes in one day. And you, the human, you have to do that as well.
Is this happening?
It happens. It happens.
I keep on the internet. How come I don't see this?
I always tell people, avoid all these very nice looking sites for news. Those ones that are very colorful, that have very nice blogs, that have so many.
The New Times, because first of all, these rich guys own this stuff, yeah? All this
Washington
news
Post
stuff,
is owned by
Bill Gates,
Bezos. And people reading things like the Washington Post, they wonder, why do we forget to read about things like
it's
this?
like PR for them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In Uganda alone here, I think it was last week, I saw a certain talk on Twitter about roses and flowers and all.
Yeah. There's
Ugandans love roses and flowers, but do they know where these things come from?
but flowers are planted.
Oh yes, they are planted. Who plants them at what cost? You see, that's the problem. Even when you
But Mansudil has like a florist something somewhere.
Yes, that is okay.
Yeah.
Having the thing is okay. Having all these properties is okay. How do you get to treat the people who get you money? That is the question. I was still going back to those flowers. These flowers are grown here by Ugandans, taken care of by Ugandans. You know what happens when you're growing these roses? They get to prick your fingers. But we are talking about a situation whereby these people that have been pricked by these roses and these flowers, they can't even access basic attention, medical attention, like a plaster or anything. They have to use super glue to stitch their wounds. That is the world we live in. That's why I said.
Have you seen this?
Of course I have.
Someone stitching their wound with
Super glue. Yes.
I have hustled, Edgar. I emerged from the street life. I have hustled. I know that people are really doing it, but some of these things, now this is you telling me. But this is also the advantage of podcasting, yeah? We get to know
things
that the news will not really point out to us. That's
definitely.
These
things are happening here. And imagine a bouquet of these flowers.
I know Chinese are stupid people. I know they treat people in that, okay, stupid could be, but I know the way Chinese who have business here treat people is so bad. I have been in my around vac time. I used to be a turn boy to a truck, to those guys who pick sand. And so Chinese had taken over most of the Luela side, yeah? So they are very bad people treating people. I've also told you my experience with Kilimall. I'll tell you for fact. That is the only one time I hated employment the most. And I think it is my last employment. I was like, no. I'm not going to work for a motherfucker. I was going to stop you from taking my child to what? To school, to hospital when they're sick. I mean, that's visible. Because he gave me a warning, but I did not know people are going through this condition. But then I can't say what's government doing for it because, of course, government is them. Government facilitates these things to happen. It's about the money and how much they are getting in. This is the side of capitalism, I did not know the reality side of it.
The bouquet of flowers costs about
30,000, 80.
No, that is from around 25.
Yeah.
Now we're talking the smallest size thing.
Yeah.
Some stretch up to 350,000.
Yeah.
But you know how much these people are paid to look after these flowers? Some of them don't even get half of that money.
Yeah, I think that is on the value, but that is with all yeah.
And you wonder how these people get rich. I always tell people there is no boss in this world who will pay you the actual money you're supposed to get. Mark, I'm going to give you a job, which I very well know I'm supposed to pay 1 million shillings for.
But that is where being skilled comes.
Okay. But I will say no. Mark is my friend from Namilyango. I'll pay him 300 intentionally when I know you're skilled and everything, but I will ensure you don't even get half of that money you're supposed to get. That is how all these rich people get to drive all those nice cars, have those nice houses and whatnot. It's not because they're hardworking.
Are you saying they're not genuine people who?
You've read that quote in the Bible.
Which one?
About the rich man going through heaven?
Yeah.
Through the
yes, the needle.
There is no person with that kind of money who ever does so using the right means. Never.
Supposing I steal money from the government and I don't have to miss and I put up my apartments and people come and pay rent and I buy my car, I build my house because people, this COVID bubble, COVID-19 alone, there's been a big bubble. All this money washed away. What?
Do you know that process between getting the money and then starting on your projects. You know how many people you're going to have to bribe in there?
First,
You're going to first have to wash people's throats and hands. All of them a little. You've stolen like 20 billion. So about 4 or 5 billion
has to go down the drain.
Doing all this groundwork. So these guys turning a blind eye. When the IGG shows up, they will say, no, that person got that money religiously and has put up this and this. When they well know you stole the money.
Crazy.
There is no wealthy person. This one I have to say it again.
Yep.
All these people between Gwanyi Zambu, and whatnot, they are all criminals. All of them. None of them is genuine.
I have
Any
seen.
of them will give you a job.
It is
but
like
they
how
will end up
network
paying.
marketing works. It only benefits the guys at the top chain. Then for you come and work and pushing the sales. You're on the groundwork. You probably most of them are doing pharmaceutical work, so you're selling medicine to people.
You're
You're moving around.
sleep. You're guy that's sleepy.
He's in Bali
Find on
chilling.
your phone at night on WhatsApp forwarding links. But please buy.
How does one get out of this bubble, Edgar?
Well, like I
How are you dealing with knowing the reality of this and making sure you don't get fed into it? Like, luckily enough, yes, you now know this information. How do you make sure that, okay, me, I will not, but the end goal is to have money. You must have a lot of money.
Capitalism is here all over the world. That
It has to stay.
You know, I usually ask a question. I imagine a world without capitalism. How would that world be? In this present day and age, let's say we just wake up tomorrow and say, capitalism to GG offer now. I wonder how that world would be.
And substitute with what? Socialism?
I don't know.
What would be your, in your opinion, what would be?
Because the truth is, whenever you hear a word ending with an ism, there's going to be problems in the end. It just has to happen that way. There will be problems. But then, from capitalism, how do we get a system that is better, that is inclusive, and that is good for everyone? The thing about capitalism, it only serves, you know what is called the 1% of the world? Those guys don't even make 1%. Those guys are like 0.5. I want to give you a simple statistic. Look at the wealthiest 2,600 people in the world. These people own 96% of the world's wealth. The first 2,000 people, the richest, they own 96%. Where do the rest of us fall?
Because maybe these people have decided to live extraordinary. Elon Musk is a brilliant.
You remember there are 3 stages I talked about? Lie a lot, cheat a lot,
And kill a lot.
They have all done all those things. The thing is getting that information out there.
Someone like who's designing fast cars, solar cars, Tesla, and I was going to bring you back to the scaling bit. You see, if these cameras, the guy right behind there, very perfection with the cameras, yeah. So to him, if you get him away from here, he's going to set a fee for you. He's going to tell you, if you want me to be back on your cameras, you're going to give me this amount of money. If you don't fit into that amount of money, that's it. He's not going to work for you. Yeah. Now he piles up his money and is getting through the ladders because he knows what he's doing. He knows he's on camera and he knows that his exact skilling is something he has mastered with time. Yeah. Same thing probably with engineers like Elon Musk. They have given it the time because when you look at some point, Elon Musk says in his story, he did not even have where to sleep.
Did he not? That is what they all say. I told you they lie a lot. You see Bill Gates? Bill Gates at one time said he didn't have money. There is one side he didn't tell the world, that his own parents gave him a cash bailout of.
But that is not a bad
$250
thing.
million.
That is not a bad thing.
No, it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing.
So a lot of people I know have given push just in my friend circles, by the way. Yeah, it doesn't have to be the actual amount of money Bill Gates had to play with, but a lot of my friends who come from very rich families have been given money and it has gone to waste. If you're not creative enough to multiply the money, it will not work.
Slow down with creative. It takes us to the other 3 things again.
Lying a lot,
Lie a lot,
cheat a lot,
kill a lot. Not in order. You'll have to do either one of them or 3 of them. You see, Mark, I can give you 2 billion right now, and I tell you, I'll be back after you to see what you've done with the money. In true honesty, if I come back after that 1 year and I find 5 billion, of course you've done a lot of panya to get the 5 billion. That's to be honest. Whether you're going to buy shares in a company, whether you're going to do this or that, there are so many panyas you've taken. You cannot grow that money genuinely.
But in the gig world, Edgar, in the gig world, all I have to do is to master my craft and then know how to trade it.
No, but
look at software engineers.
I'm going to ask you a question. There is one time on this very podcast you said, my dad has been working a lot throughout his life.
That is true. And he has been cheated. And I'll tell you, my father is one of those people I know that he's very hardworking because of the discipline he's had. Yeah, he has even flown out to do cheyo and what. So what, up to today, it beats my understanding that he's not a wealthy man.
Do you know why? Yeah? There are 3 things I talked about. I told you all the answers lie there. Wow. You want to be wealthy? Just do any of those 3 things. Or do all of them. I can assure you, money will rain. It will get to a point whereby people just parade money and you walk on it. The likes of those rich guys, the likes of the Bezos and whatnot. These are guys who literally can get money, put it in a fireplace, burn for them to warm themselves up. They have
Mansa Musa during those days had this kind of money.
Even the Pablo Escobars. Pablo Escobar got to a point of hiding his money in the ground in tanks.
And he forgot some of this money. He does not know where he was hiding some of the money because it was too much. But drug money is too much. Drug money is too much. But yes, because of course it kills a lot. Drug money is really death. Even if you don't have to shoot people, the drugs alone, you're infecting a lot of people and you're getting a lot of people.
Yeah, 3 things. You know the thing about
what drugs? Is your substitution?
Substitution, honestly.
But I still don't believe you cannot... My father aside, by the way, I really is someone I look up to with the hard work and the discipline of life. But for him, it's like, okay, I've been to BNC. Can be the cow, Wendy. It is okay. I have my few friends, my family is running, and a few things, and that's kawa.
Have you been to VH?
BNC.
You know one thing I like about old people? They like telling us so many things, not so directly.
Yeah.
Hey, when you really look at Evin to BNC, very much, there is a lot of bulimba. A lot. People will not tell you the truth. That's the truth. And I don't know, it takes...
Let's go to a country like Uganda where you can just become an MP and become corrupt and get rich.
An MP is very far. Just look at these companies. We have the so-called corporate companies. How do you think all those guys amass all that wealth? They tell you someone was the accountant for company X. But the amount of money you see on them...
There's no accountability.
Zero accountability.
We have about 30-year-olds who are sleeping in fully furnished apartments. They're paying $2,000 a month. And you wonder, how is this man? How did you get out of campus? What job did you do?
Where do you think that 2,000 comes from? You think it just shows up the right way? You see, that's the thing about capitalism. Even the money you're going to get, the paper money.
Yeah.
It has to start from things like trees or whatnot. I do not know. It has to start from somewhere. But when it starts from somewhere, the people that are going to make you that money are going to be exploited. In Kenya right now, there is a whole battle on social media about this company that makes this beverage. Is it Neso?
Yeah.
The people in Kenya literally just woke up and said, enough with you guys. You guys have killed our ancestors, our parents, our kids in the name of capitalism. And now people are now starting now to change for the better. They're starting now to substitute that company's products with other products.
How do they then trust other products and whoever is making?
You see, it's a thing of defiance again. You don't have to trust. You just do. Remember what happened in the elections? NUP and NRM. People just said we are going to vote NUP. Whether these people know what they are doing or they don't.
Umbrella is it.
It's a thing of you have to just defy. Whether you have a proper reasoning for it or not, you simply do it.
I still think because right now you're killing my dream. It's not like I want to really get extremely rich and what, but you're really pointing out the fact that hard work never pays off. But I have seen that from my father, that hard work is just that. It's just hard work.
Hard work is just hard work. But hard work. You see, hard work is just hard work to you that has worked probably, and the people have seen you. But it is everything to the person who ends up with the money. The person at the top. Yeah. You guy. We're talking of people who can just be here and they say, omwana wange afunye obulwadde. Guy picks up the phone or she picks up the phone.
Calls the government.
Government?
And they fly him out.
They just call the head of security at the airport. My people are coming in. We are boarding right now, leaving for South Africa. They don't need clearance from anyone because they pay their monthly dues to the authorities. That is how these people operate. Just call the pilot. Pilot, we now all in there.
Interesting. In COVID time when we were under lockdown,
but then
we had a few families that were that could still operate. They could call governments, KQ, then the airlines.
How special those families from the
They've
families
worked hard. One of those families,
hard?
UBL, former boss, and people drink a lot.
Have
in the
they
country.
worked hard?
People drink a lot. I mean, you cannot suppose.
I like anything to do with alcohol. You know why? Alcohol. You see, the thing about alcohol is so many people enjoy it.
Yeah.
Very many.
And our country, a lot of people in our country enjoy it.
And very many people at the same time don't want to talk really about that industry.
Let's talk about it.
This week, I think it was even yesterday, they had this thing of celebrating 75 years. They came up with their very nice statistic. In the 75 years we have been in Uganda, we have paid 7.4 trillion in taxes.
And they've probably paid that money in taxes.
Well, maybe they have. But you need to ask yourself, how much has the country paid in treating the non-communicable diseases that come with alcoholism?
That is something we should really talk about.
These are questions those guys don't want you to ask.
But this is the thing with big farmers, mostly. You see how there's a lot of criminalization of marijuana that is not the same with alcohol, yet alcohol
I wish I'd come
causes
with my shirt that has legalized it. Hey!
alcohol causes a lot more way sicknesses, diseases than marijuana.
To be honest, alcohol causes at least 200 diseases known. At least 200.
But I know a lot of people who have drunk all their lives. Okay, those are
I
special
myself,
cases.
I used to drink till 2014. I quit.
I mean, the alcohol thing has really never been my thing.
You see, the whole quitting thing started with knowing, understanding from the roots. Many of us want to understand from the top, just speaking information pieces here and there. But you really need to understand from the roots.
Just from how they advertise it, not to sell to under persons under 18.
Man.
So that the 16-year-old can ask, why aren't I drinking?
and also because they don't want so many questions from UCC. UCC is one of the people in the problem. Hey, big alcohol, those guys are ready. Like I said, do you remember the three things? They will lie a lot.
They will kill a lot.
And they will kill a lot. Because I always put this question to people. How many people in Uganda or in this world haven't lost someone they know or someone they are close to alcohol? How many?
But yeah, I can't even say I haven't. I have about 4 uncles.
See?
From previously and a lot in the childhood. Then you hear a lot of stories of from way back. But people are making the alcohol besides the industrialization of it all, and people are making this mwenge and people used to drink. People from the Asian days, people are drinkers. The alcohol bit, yeah.
Now you see, that's the other dangerous side of alcoholism or alcohol. This alcohol we make in our local communities.
Yeah.
Is that alcohol really regulated and followed up? Like the way you see all these standardized, products like UBL and whatnot. Kunogwa from Uganda, people just make up their alcohol
and they drink.
Sell and they drink. Many of us don't even know what we are drinking. Just this week, I think on Sunday, 4 people died in Rukunjiri. They drank something that was mixed with unidentified chemicals. Imagine. And people died.
But that is a standardization issue. Free market, people are operating how they want, and they will get away with that. We'll call that it will appear mean, but those will be casualties.
The 3 things.
Because why are you drinking?
Capitalism will always ensure the people at the top survive and die least. Mama. Before death can get those people up there,
why are you championing legalizing marijuana? Marijuana also has a lot of issues around.
What?
Yeah.
Yo, just look at how many painkillers in this world. How many of them do you know that don't have a tiny element of marijuana in them? You see, these white people who came here.
Yeah.
These people are very interesting. They found us now we're using our marijuana. But then
Were we?
Oh, of course we were. You think we started?
But you see, for them in their countries, it's legal, and in our countries, it's not.
No. Depending where you're talking about. Countries like, I do not know what. May say for us, in our country, you can take some weed in some states, like in America. In other states, it's illegal. Hey. But for other countries like Uganda, they will say it is totally illegal. We don't accept this or that. It may not even be Uganda alone. So many other countries in Africa. But you see, it takes me back to my point now. The thing about marijuana is so many people just want the leaves of marijuana. And after getting those leaves, everybody wants to trim marijuana and burn it away. Have you ever asked yourself the other uses of the marijuana plant itself, minus the leaves?
What are these uses?
Man, there are so many.
Please, we have the time.
You're one of the people who said you love trimming your hair. Do you know that marijuana is a good aftershave?
I did not know. This is the first.
And you see, these are things, like I told you, capitalism is death. They will lie a lot. They will cheat a
So
lot.
this information is hidden.
These are things they don't want you to know.
What do you mean good aftershave? How do I then use it to...
Just even pick the leaves, grind them properly.
Like how we were showering a bombo growing up.
Then, proper, organic.
So because they have to substitute that with the aftershave they sell in the supermarket. The second advantage.
Man, there are so
I want us to go through some because...
There are so many. There are simply so many.
But also, cases of marijuana being bad for the brain, because we have people who, how do I call it? Running mad, in quotes, even if it's not really that. How do they... The problems, I've forgotten the English name and the technical English name of... All these psychosis problems, that come with it. You don't want to take that for light, man. You can't
Of course, those happen. Actually, there is a blog I wrote about. It's called scromiting, screaming, vomiting put together. It's called scromiting. It's some rare disorder to do with long-term marijuana use. Have you imagined yourself vomiting while screaming? You know how painful that can be.
That can be very painful.
Now, it's one of these things that come with chronic use of marijuana. But the surprising
by chronic use of marijuana, how do I become a chronic user?
You know, there are people who smoke joints like 5 a day.
That's chronic use.
There are some who smoke.
But then I know a lot of creatives who really have to smoke.
Yeah, but that's the tricky thing. When I wrote about this blog post, I asked so many people who I know who are chronic users. Many of them told me they didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
But again, in certain countries, it is reported it has happened before it happens. So you have to put all these things into consideration. And then many of us, we want to mix marijuana with so many other things. You want to mix it with, I do not know, nicotine and all these other drugs and whatnot. And in the end, it's a mix. The body can only handle one substance at a time. But you want to mix 10 substances in another substance. But it's just these tiny internal organs you're giving.
Edgar, to the advantage, because isn't that... Why do you think it's not legal besides the taxes thing? Why do you think? I think because of the effects.
Social injustice. That's the only reason. Remember when I talked about... remember when I talked about big alcohol? You see, when you look at the history of big alcohol all over the world, big alcohol has a way it takes us back to the other three things. Lie a lot and cheat a lot. They are going to find ways of oiling the hands of the people in power. That is what big alcohol does best. They come and give you some nice money, some nice amenities, and all those nice things.
Yeah.
So they tell you, promote this and trash the other. But in actual sense, when you actually use with these products, both personally I've used them before. I used marijuana and I used alcohol. Yeah. But I said, you know what? For purposes of sobriety, I need to quit both. Yeah. But I personally am attached to marijuana because marijuana has done so much and it has the capability of doing so much. Look at China. China from way back, China and India.
Yeah.
These are the two countries that used marijuana properly and it helped them a lot.
What do you mean using?
Meditation, medication, treatment of I do not know what. So many things.
They're hearsay because when people get into some hectic diseases like cancer, then hospitals will actually advise them to smoke some J's and stuff like that.
You know why? If no, even forget cancer, HIV and AIDS. There are so many people who have told me, when you lose some appetite, take a joint. Your appetite kicks in again. There are so many things, but you see,
but that is true.
But you see the way it's demonized. They'll make you think marijuana is the worst thing that has happened to this world. But no.
The fact that it is very demonized and children are arrested just because of the usage, yet alcohol is on TV being advertised. It's very, very
and
hypocritical.
It is sponsoring shows.
It's sponsoring shows here and there. It's one of the most hypocritical things, by the way. But because you can regulate how much intake you can take for alcohol.
Can you? Can you? You know one thing I like about big alcohol? The way they frame their messages. Mama. Those guys are good. They hire the best. If Mark, you have a PhD in marketing, they'll be like, we shall pay you $1 million per day. Just do the ask for this thing. And you'll be like, yeah? When do I start? You start off. You craft your messages nicely. And actually, big alcohol is exactly like big soda.
How was it possible that you quit both these things, alcohol and marijuana, and you still have this mentality on life? You are still, first of all, a Rasta, and you know how marijuana is so attached to Rastas. Yet I know a shitload of them that don't even smoke, but they just love their lifestyle. The Rasta lifestyle, that, you know what? In my understanding, the Rasta lifestyle is actually more of treating people better. Most of the Rastas, and we live in a community that is happy people. We are coexisting. Everyone is happy. How are you? How did you handle this, man?
It has been a journey, but it has been a journey.
How long are you into it now? 2014.
Yeah, 2014. That's when I quit. January 2014. January 10th, 2014. That's when I quit. Say today I am taking my last drop of alcohol. That day it wasn't about smoking ganja. Said alcohol today. That's it. We are through. Now.
And you followed through from then.
From then on, and from then on, I've even picked up better habits. Sugar, anything processed sugar, soda, tea with sugar in it, all those I quit as well. So I take plain things now. It's like when I came in here and said I just want boiled or warm water. That's all I need. Soda and alcohol. If only we knew how dangerous soda is.
Warren Buffett, Coca-Cola guy, still takes his Coca-Cola even at 86 years or whatever the age is.
Can I give a simple assignment?
Yeah.
I saw gas here.
Yes.
I want you to get a saucepan. Buy any soda, preferably Pepsi or Coca-Cola. Yeah. Boil it properly and let it kutokota bulungi. Then analyze it and see what's inside there. That's the quality of stuff you're taking in your body. That is how dangerous it is. But you know the marketing and spreading the word about their products. They are so good. They will ensure their products get through. It reminds me of a certain quote about a certain scientist here in Africa. Remember the AIDS scourge had just started in Uganda? Yeah. He said, if it is very possible to have a Coca-Cola bottle in every corner of Africa, why is it not possible to have ARVs in every corner of Africa? Remember that genocide we had here? Yes. Genocide by denial.
Yes.
It's not because people, didn't have the medicine. Yeah. It's because the medicine was strategically kept away from them. The medicine was there. We wouldn't have lost so many people that we lost.
Yeah, a lot of people, by the way, died.
So many people died.
But then COVID also came and took so many people from them. How come?
The three things. Remember, capitalism is death. All these people that made all this money and whatnot, the big farmers, these guys got abnormal money. I remember reading my very first story about COVID and ventilators in the era of Trump. Trump's government made a deal with Philips, the company, to manufacture ventilators for them. They ordered for a number of ventilators, a good number of them. You know how much each ventilator cost them? Philips gave them a bill. Every ventilator was $18,000. That is how rich people got in COVID. And this is like, how everyone? Now imagine what's going to happen in wave 3 and 4 and Nezi zona. It got to a point whereby the government felt they were being milked money. They went back to Senate and said, you guys, cut off the price. They cut it to $12,000 for one ventilator. $12,000.
You said if I cook a Coca-Cola, what happens? Because I'm really going to do it.
Just spoil it, and I want you to tell me what you found there.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
it's an experiment you should try.
Yeah. And
If your person don't take soda and you still take it after that, I think you love your sugar. I don't
How do you then quit sugar as well? You don't drink sugar in tea as well?
anymore. No more sugars.
How long has that been?
This has been 3 years now.
What's the disadvantage of the sugar? By the way, I also, in my family, there are cases of diabetes. So I'm still using sugar, but I hate and I use a lot of it. In a cup of tea, I'll use like 3 spoons.
But Mark, you have been using sugar from way
I know.
back. I remember.
But
even in
the
that
advantage
young,
is...
You're one guy you loved your sugar. How many spoons again? The Vijay spoons.
Because I don't want to taste things that are not... That is why I don't drink alcohol, by the way. Because it's sour. I don't want to be attached to things that are not sweet.
No, you see, you have a lifetime deal with sugar.
But I'll quit. I'll quit. And I could quit after this podcast.
Please invite me the day you quit.
Yes. It should be after this podcast. Should be after this podcast. Because you're really open.
Sugar from way back. If I remember the way you used to love your sugar in, was it tea or bushera?
Both those two, and exactly what I still do up to now. Crazy. Edgar, let's conclude this. We're looking into you. What gives you this really motivation on? You see, you have. How do you read? Do you meditate? Do you?
All those, but read a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
How do you censor your information? Because there's a lot of stupid information. But there's a lot of noise and then information. There are people who are making noise. There are people who are going to tell you about Coca-Cola and how, yes, it could be kawa. How do you then get this out? Like let me censor. This is what I choose to pick. Yeah.
Well, it starts from reading from diverse sources. At least for me. Yeah. I read from so many sources. Say, now that thing to do with death. You know how it came about?
You were at the funeral?
No. I was at home.
Yeah.
But then a message was being broadcast over our community radio in Chengera. And all. So I was with Robert, our domestic worker. So I asked him a question. Because there was another guy who was blasting music right next to
for them, they are in another life, yes.
For them, it is a bad day.
That's how life is, man.
So I was wondering, what if we all lost someone on a particular day? How would life be?
True.
So I see things from diverse angles. Then I begin putting, things together, piecing things together. Capitalism is death. I had to look at so many things from all over the world. I
am going to invite you back here. Probably I'll set a date. I'll come with my issues on capitalism because I have a lot of them. It's just that I wanted this to be
love capitalism, yes. But
because that is how you survive. Capitalism is it's the only working system. Yeah, we are both left alone to look at how do I then survive. Edgar is here. What I do to survive? Yes, I'll also have to join people who lie a lot, but we are both looking to survive. Because then how are you surviving?
But you see, this is the thing. When you say it is the only system that has worked, have you used any other system?
Hey. That is the question I also left. We'll start from there. What other system can you...
Because that's a good question. For people who have tested both systems, maybe they might say capitalism is better than the others have tested. But I really want to believe there is something better. I really want to believe. You just can't tell me capitalism is the best. No, the best? How? Mark, you get COVID today, you're told every single day you complete in this hospital. Million is a phase. And in your own life, you are account taken and honestly.
That is so true.
It is that you're literally going to...
But healthcare is so fucking expensive. Everywhere, man. This is why the USA has all these plans and stuff. Healthcare has been very expensive.
Do you have friends in America?
Yeah.
Have they told you about their healthcare?
They've told me I know that government maybe supports, but we don't go in depth details. What? But this what is about their healthcare?
America. This is why we say, like in reggae, America is it is the base of the. There's something we call a sheet system. Put together, it is the sheet system. America is that. America boasts of having everything, the money, the whatnot. But when you look at their people, the way they live via their health, it is so bad. It is the one country that I know has been incentivizing its people to get COVID jabs. Yep. They get to an extent of telling when you get your jab, we come and give you a roll of ganja, or we give you some money. Many people are afraid in that country to even test for COVID because they know just getting the jab of COVID might take away $200 of your money. Wow. Just imagine.
Crazy.
You know $200 in Uganda shillings.
I am going to set up this interview with another good friend of mine. He's called Eddie. We'll be 3 people on the pod. I've now noticed how we'll direct the conversation, Edgar. Thank you for this. Should be next week. I'll holler at you and we'll find a good time. But this has been very entertaining for me and very educative.
The capitalist.
And very educative, really. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.